This transmission is, from my own personal point of view, I would say the most important one that I've done to date. It's certainly the one which is going to bring the biggest effects for, well, the whole planet. And what I need to start with is an explanation which will take quite some time. This may take 20 minutes, so I do please ask you to take your time to follow this explanation before you go on to the transmission, so that you know what is actually happening as you receive the transmission. The first thing that I've got to do is to bring theology and science together. I've actually brought my God bag with me today, and what I'm going to do is to give you the scientific proof that God is real. So I hope you're watching this, Chris. Chris is my favourite atheist. Chris from Romania. She puts lots and lots of very interesting videos up on YouTube. Whatever name you use, God, Allah, Mahatma, Yahweh, all names belong to the Godhead. And in science, it was developed in quantum physics a couple of decades ago now, something called chaos theory. Now, it's not actually about chaos. The name is a little bit unfortunate. It should be actually called order theory, to give you an idea of what it's actually about. But what chaos theory does is to measure two parameters. Because if we're talking about chance happenings, we're talking about so-called random events. So on one axis is how many atomic collisions are necessary to produce a particular effect. And the other parameter is over what length of time, or over what length of time would it be necessary for this effect to materialize through random events, random atom collisions. And it's very, very accurate. We get a much, much deeper insight into the structure of the universe from chaos theory. Of course, it's been developed further since then, but this is the main thing that we're going to look at right now, because we're going to use chaos theory and something that you see every day and don't think about to prove that God is real. Now, in the God bag, there's a tea plate. There's a knife and a tomato. That's it. There's nothing else in there. See? Empty. And what I want you to do is to consider the tomato from the point of view of the tomato plant. As I said, something you see every day, but you never think about why has the tomato plant developed this fruit? What does the tomato plant get from it? Why does it do it? Well, quite simple. What the tomato plant seeks to achieve is to propagate itself, to spread itself to other parts of the countryside and to places where tomato plants can thrive. And it's actually worked out in a very ingenious way of supplying it with a nice pile of good fertilizer. And if we consider how has the tomato plant done this, what does the tomato plant need to know in order to achieve this? Okay, the most conspicuous thing about the tomato is it's red and the leaves are green. Now you notice that this colour combination, red against green, is noticeable over very long distances. So what does the tomato plant know? It knows that somewhere out there are things which can detect visible light. And it makes use of this to give a message to these things which can detect visible light. And in the point of fact, almost all mammals, are quite capable of spotting a ripe tomato over a distance of a mile. So that's the first thing that tomato plant knows. Then it somehow knows that these things like to eat. Okay? That a plant knows about eating, animals eating. Interesting. It knows that these things, these animals, like sweet things. So it makes the tomato sweet. It knows that these animals have teeth to grind up their food. So what does it do? Let's have a look. It puts the seeds inside here in a jelly sheath which keeps slipping away from the teeth. You ever tried to chew a tomato seed? Not only this, it knows that these animals have a digestive system which includes lots and lots of enzymes which are designed to break down seeds and make out of it foodstuffs which this animal can use. So what does it do? This jelly sheath again is immune to the digestive enzymes of the animal. Then what else happens? Well, at some point in the future, after hopefully wandering some distance away, this animal deposits a nice pile of waste product, or waste for the animal, which, you know, in polite terms we call manure. It has other names, of course. And this is perfect fertilizer for the tomato plant. Now, just look at this. All the stuff, all these things which the tomato plant has to know to achieve its objective. That's a very, very large number of factors. We then apply chaos theory to this to determine how long it has taken for random events to produce this combination of abilities of knowledge. And what we arrive at is either a number of atom collisions vastly greater than the number of atoms in the universe, or a time scale vastly greater than the time which the universe has existed. So what science is saying, in short, is that the existence of the tomato, as we know it, is impossible without intelligent direction. Quod erat demonstrantum. Whether you call it universal consciousness, the universal mind, God, Goddess, Paramatma, Brahma, Yahweh, doesn't matter. There is a guiding consciousness which creates, and it creates a highly complex, ordered structure which enables us to use these physical bodies to achieve what we want to achieve. Each of us. Now this is important because look at the corollary. We are saying that intelligence creates form. Here it is. Here it is. Apply chaos theory to the human body and you get a similar result. Random event, it is impossible for a human body to exist. There is a guiding consciousness which creates the human body. Why does each body look different, or almost every body look different? How can it be that a competent healer can look at your body and know your life habits, how you normally live, just by looking at you? Answer: because the guiding consciousness which creates your body is you. You are above matter. Matter does not create you. You create the material of your body. You are an expression of the same divine source which created this. We then see how it is that there is so much evidence of reincarnation, if you want, but put it the other way around, that you are immortal, that you change bodies every 20, 50, 100 years, or maybe you take a pause between bodies, entirely up to you. But again, going back to chaos theory, the evolution of the human body is impossible without the same consciousness working through the material of the body every time. So again, we ask the question, when someone leaves their body, completes an incarnation, the body begins immediately to decompose. Why? Because of microbes, symbiotic microbes, which are in the body the whole time, and their job is to recycle used, damaged, used up organic material. But they don't do it so long as a soul, an immortal soul, is occupying the body. As soon as you leave the body, these microbes begin to work to recycle the organic material to make it available for something else. Fungi, plants, trees, whatever, that grow and then produce fruits that we eat. The normal planetary recycling system. Now, I'm giving you this as an introduction because of what comes next. What we need to look at now is this great evolution that we're going through right now. Oh, incidentally, when we're talking about the theory of reincarnation or eternal life, there has only been one small segment of humanity for a very short time which has ever believed that there is no such thing as immortal life and reincarnation. What I've just explained to you is something that most organized religions would dearly love to completely suppress. Most organized religions are based upon the premise that God does not exist, but should he, she ever begin to exist, then you need us to intervene for you with deity, because you are so unacceptable. We've got to interpose for you to get God, Goddess to accept you. An interesting concept. But who is God, Goddess? God is here. We've just seen it. God is here. God is here on this video screen. Everything is the creative consciousness. And all of us are playing an elaborate game with ourselves in order to explore our abilities, primarily our creative abilities. Now, mankind as a whole has just come to the end of one important phase of discovery. And this phase was the Age of Materialism, also known as the Patriarchy. And one of the things which we all agreed to do in order to play this part of the game was to have a little program built into us which made each of us a victim, a sacrifice. This has enabled those who have chosen the role to be those who own, control everything, to do so, because this program makes us unconsciously give our power to them so that they can freely use it the way they want to do. And this is the way they've done it. You know, this is why you have, on the one hand, people dying in poverty, and on the other hand, people with so much money that they could never ever spend it. You know, what's a guy who earns $7 million an hour, what is he going to spend it on? There's nothing that he can buy. And such people do exist. So we've now learned what happens when you create a patriarchy, when you create a time, an age of materialism. It leads to a state in which nobody is satisfied, nobody is happy. Some have much too much, and some have much too little. And in the middle, there's a constant fight going on to push some down and others to climb up. We've discovered that it is not a viable way of being. We discovered a few other things as well. But as this age of materialism has come to a close, it's actually ended at the end of February 2013. Not the 21st of December 2012, but you know, it's not that far off, considering that it was calculated a couple of thousand years ago. And what now needs to be done is to remove this programming, remove this sacrifice, this victim program, so that then you stop giving your power to those who are, for want of a better word, addicted to sucking energy, to owning and controlling everything, because they have no control over themselves. As we do this, there is one particular point in the body where this program is inserted, and that lies between the large intestine and the pancreas, about here. And this area has been askewed in its informational structure for quite a long time. So it is going to be a little bit uncomfortable to correct it, but you will really enjoy the effect when you're through with it. And it might take a few weeks, but enjoy. So this transmission is in 3 parts. We start off gently. That's the first one. If this hurts, just keep doing this one until it no longer hurts, until you actually feel happy with it. Then go on to the second one. Same principle, use it until you feel happy with it, until there's no pain anymore. And the third one removes all the rest. There are a few who will be able to tolerate the third transmission straight off. Those who have done a tremendous amount of work over several years developing their own abilities and freeing up their own consciousness will probably be able to tolerate the third transmission immediately. If this is not you and you try the third, well, be it upon your head, you will find it very uncomfortable. But this is what we're now going to do. We're going to go from here to the first transmission, which we'll find the next video down from here. Okay, thank you.